Ahaya GC News mema wakwaba. So when you subscribe ya message over subscribe na wa like na fi wa share video no ama ofufro so enye bi ahade latest and hot news nkwa na me de premo eye Kweku Annan KSM wakasa Bawumia smoka mo first year no mame KSM nsem atuga afa ho na wada nsem bebre no na wo bisa se wa ba be so steer no ma yehu the state of the nation yehu man be bia ba be dru Oba then a oba ye afa na ye obia obetimi ede nkaboma ba nye obi oba party kwa ho na emu mamuni nyina KSM ede ensemato general na wotisi eye aglow ma me ni nsema ode betu bia KSM ariate ama wada nsem bebre ede yesemre no ententemara yenko eye KSM Kweku Annan yenkuti nsema ode tu bia fa yesti na ba omia pese wogina wokudro no wode nsemato bia fa ho.
Whoever is taking the steer, who's ever taking the steer 2024, for one, I think must be somebody who can unify this nation. You know why I'm saying this? This nation has become so divided. This nation has become so divided. It's so there's so much conflict. There's so much misunderstanding. And let me say this, folks. Let me say this. Whoever wants to assume the power of a president should be a unifier. If we don't unify this nation, let me tell you something. Then we are programming ourselves for self-destruction. If we don't unify Ghana, if we don't get that leader who can bring all of us Ghanaians together as one people, then I'm telling you, we are heading for self-destruction. You know, if you ask me today, what is the real state of the nation? I'll tell you today that the real state of the nation is like a ship without a rudder, you know, it's traveling without precise direction. And that is very, very dangerous. We need to bring this station back on track and follow a specific track that will lead us. We don't have that now. I'm sorry. We don't. We want to bring Ghana back to where it should be. And I'm telling you, everybody, folks, this next election coming is our last chance to make a difference. I kid you not, let me give me glasses for a quick second. Sa election ebe. This is our last LAST chance that we have as a nation to put ourselves back together. You know, there's something called the tipping point. You know, you can go then you get to a point where it is called the tipping point. And at the tipping point, it means you are at the point where you're about to tip. The question is, where are you going to tip? Because point in a word, you know, you can either tip into chaos or tip into prosperity. That's the thing about it all. If you look at the course of our trajectory, we are getting to the tipping point. And I'm telling you, by 2024, we are going to be at that tipping point. And at that tipping point, where are we going to tip? We can tip into prosperity, hard work, and rebuilding the nation, or we can tip into chaos. Mark my words and write in the wall if you want. Mimi, your prophet. I am not prophesying. I am only giving you a prediction from common sense that by 2024, Ghana is going to be at the tipping point. The tipping point doesn't mean that we have gone so high that we have reached the tipping point. You know, the tipping point simply means that as a nation, we have reached a point where we need to make a decision. And that decision, folks, that decision is going to tip us either into prosperity or either into chaos. And different the tipping points, you know. So you can believe me if you want or not. You can accept this if you want or not. And you must All I'm telling you is that 2024 election, a tipping point. You know what my great friend Chinua Achebe said in his great book, Things Fall Apart? I like the way he started. There was a little poem there. He said, turning and turning in the widening gyre. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Minkabu. Turning and turning in the widening gyre. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. I am sorry to say that is the true state of the nation, folks. Things are falling apart, and the center cannot hold. When I say, I don't even know where the center is. Things are falling apart, my dear friends. Education is in turmoil. The judiciary is in turmoil. The press freedom is in turmoil, and I can go on and on and on. Everything is not on the right trajectory. So things are falling apart, and the center is not holding. That is why I started by saying, when it is Janubemano? Because whoever takes the steer, 2024, Charlie, a Juma Damosono, it's not easy. You know, now this is the election mode, and this is the mode for promising. Great. You can promise all you want, but I'm saying I'm still waiting for all the candidates that are running for office. I want one candidate to be truthful enough to tell us, this is the state of the nation. This is what I'm going to inherit. Shall I'm campaigning for power? I want to be the president of this country. Okay? This is the true state of the nation. If I become president, this is what I am going to inherit. Say, this is where the debt level is, where the educational level is, this is where the inflation is. List what you are going to inherit. And be truthful about the difficulty that you're going to inherit. Let me tell you a quick joke before I continue. Very quick joke. You see, two military men were having a discussion. But sure, this is a joke. I don't want any headlines like, hey, KSM say there's going to be a coup. And yes, I'll make a cry. It's a joke. So they said two military guys were having a discussion. And one guy said, Charlie, I see you cool. You know, Ghana I like power everywhere. Like sometime back in the 70s, like cool. And the other one said, oh, me and you home. Cool. What about them? Sir, in seeing who I am, 100% inherited. Was it, we are cool. This mess that is waiting for us to inherit. Who wants to inherit it? Oh my dear. This is just a joke. KSM supposed to cool. But I'm telling you something. It looks funny. But the thing is this country is so messed up that even having a coup is not attractive, because you know what you're going to inherit. And what you have to inherit, you know. Well, you say, Charlie, this is not something we rush into, you know. So this is just a joke. But the truth of the matter is that there are several people running for president who want to inherit this mess. That's why I'm saying, you know, even before all the manifestos, even before you tell us all the great things that you're going to do for Ghana, even before you start mentioning the amazing changes that you want to do for this country, I beg you, please tell us, what country are you inheriting? You know why I'm saying that? Because the last thing we want to hear is that we have voted for so and so for president, and it comes and he says, oh, I have to do this and that and that. I have to put my promises on hold. Why? Because that means I say. You know, I just realized we had so much of work to do in this area that I need time. I didn't know it when I was promising. But now that I'm in power and I know what is at stake, the Pacho, give me some time to work around a few things. Please, let's not get to that. All the promises you are making, some Obama, I'm happy, And this is going especially to my good friend, Dr. Bawumia. What's it, Gyamfi? And there's one thing he said. I said, Mijistiana, na minchika no. Nyanko bebia, SSA yako. Minchika no. Na mod mako bebia seko. That's a very loaded statement. Because what he's admitting is that his boss, Nanado, has not taken us where we want to go. But because he was a vice, he didn't have the steer. And to give him the steer now, and you will see where we are supposed to go, he will take us there. I'm great if there's anybody who's going to promise that he's going to take us where we're going to go to. But the implication here, especially coming from Dr. Bawumia, is it's an admission. So we messed up. It is. We have messed up. But it's okay. Now you give me the steer and I will take you where we are supposed to go. It's a very deeply loaded statement. So let me put his case aside. Folks, we are in bad shape. We as a nation, we have reached a point where I think that everybody, or most of us, let me be frank enough to adjust it and say, not everybody, but most of us have become hypocrites. We are all living as if there is no problem. And then in between ourselves, we admit what problems we are facing. But outside of that, that's okay. My good friend, I can't even call her my sister, Gyamfi Afenyi. Did you hear the speech she made the last time, Women's Aglow? She knows that there's hardship. She says she knows that we're going through intermittent doom, so she knows that prices are rising, she knows inflation, but something to the effect that but by the grace of God, we are very okay as a country. Because to date, people are still having weddings, people are having outdoorings, we're having parties, and these all are indications that we are still able to keep up with these things. So I guess in summary, just say never that bad, because still I hear outdoorings. My friends, please. There is no time in the history of Ghana that we stopped doing outdoorings. Even the 80s, when Rolling Stones by Rolling Stones, they so come down and say Rolling Stones. Satan crying outdooring. Even those times we were having weddings. So please, let's be realistic with ourselves and not think that everything is okay so long as a few people are having outdoorings and weddings. I'm sorry. It is part of our thinking, which I call we think so mediocre. And when you think mediocre, you accept the lowest common denominator. It is so long as I say, I'm all for weddings, just say, okay. Please. That is not true. Weddings and things will always go on, but never ever in your life use that as an indicator to judge the economic growth of a country. Even in the days of COVID, trust me, in the days of COVID where everything was like at a standstill there, but even in the days of COVID, I'm telling you, I know I have friends who made their best money in the era of COVID. And Bronika said that we have something that is called the rule, and then we have something that is called the exception. And she said, this is the rule. The rule is that this is where this is going. But we have a few exceptions to the rule. And the COVID, the rule was that the country was suffering, and everything was bad. And the COVID, you all remember COVID areas, COVID times. So things were bad. That was the rule of COVID. But the exception was that there were few companies that were manufacturing masks, disinfectants, and things like that, who at that time made so much money. But you don't base your argument on the fact, say, oh, but few companies have made so much money, so COVID was good. No. The rule was that everybody was suffering. The rule was that things were bad. But the exception was that those who were marketing things that will help in the prevention of certain things at that time made money. And please, let's not confuse the rule with the exception. The rule is that this is it. The exception is that this is it. But because you see the exception, don't confuse the exception to be the rule. Okay? So now that we're there, Charlie folks, what I'm saying is this. As we go into 2024, we need to elect a unifier. Somebody who can bring the whole nation back together. I'm very, 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 very sorry to say this, but under the last 8 years, it has been so polarized. My dear brother Nanado, you seem sometimes to think that you are the president of MPP followers. No, I'm sorry. You are the president of Ghana. And Bawumia, if you say you want to take over Nanado and continue, learn this from day one. You are not running to be the president of MPP supporters. You're running to be the president of Ghana. Let's think that to begin with. That's why I keep saying that the next leader we're going to have in this country needs to be a unifier. All this division about an MPP for an NDC for and one, like there's only two parties in Ghana, that should end. We need somebody who will have the ability to unify all that and move on. Because you do tipping points, and what we need now is a unified country moving forward, not a partisan president. No partisan president can move this country forward. No partisan president, can move this country forward. So please, whoever is going to take over the reins of government in 2024, please, you can come on the Allen ticket, the MPP ticket, the NDC ticket, the Cheddar ticket, whatever ticket you're coming from. Your first business, trust me, is to unify this divided country. And stop talking as if you are president of only the party members that voted for you. And here I'm sorry to say that Nanado didn't set the right examples. His utterances suggested that it's a partisan thing. It is no longer a partisan thing. And Ghana is at a tipping point. And if we want to go into the future, we cannot go into the future with any partisan thing. We have to go into the future united and rallying around a leader who is focused on bringing us together. None of this partisan crap can go forward with us. I'm telling you this, folks, and I mean it. We are at the tipping point. Beyond 2024, if God forbid, we go and choose a leader beyond 2024 who is all about my party and my party and my party and my party. Trust me. When I said in the beginning that we are programming ourselves to self-destruct, that is what we're going to see. Self-destruction. This equalization in politics must stop. Sometimes people say, oh, NDC, MPP, the truth is that there are clear differences between the two of them. But the other truth is that they all do the same things on certain levels. Equalization. Do you remember somebody actually sat on TV, an MPP guy sat on TV and said that no matter how bad the inflation is, no matter how worse the inflation is, This and very different. It's okay that we are exchanging $1 for 60 cedis. Are you okay? And this is the buyer and 25 cedis. How do we think like that? How can we move a nation like that with that kind of mediocric mentality? This is mediocrity at its highest. And no nation can move up when the people who are at the helm of affairs on the lowest common denominator. I've said this thing long ago. Over 20 years I've been saying this, that mediocrity is the bane of our suffering today. Folks, we need to rise past this mediocrity.
Yo ito po because GC so and our no 7 young subscriber ya say over subscriber na wa like na wa share video no ama ofofro so enye bi na wa hwe. Also betimi akire wadwen afaye some we na ho e wo comment box ni mo beti you in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.